I have a question for you. What is wealth? I think the concept of wealth is it's important that we try to understand it. That we try to understand what it is, what it means, especially in these turbulent times that we are living in right now, with inflation and a lot of other things going on. Wealth is, what is it? I mean, it's more difficult, that concept, to grasp than one should imagine. Is it money in the bank? Is it gold and silver? Is it having a big house and a big cabin up in the mountains, a big car, all financed by a bank loan? Is that wealth? Is it your reputation? Is it, I mean, what is wealth? I want to talk about this because I have talked about the concept of wealth previously, but because of what's going on in our part of the world now, with everything becoming more expensive, rising inflation, tax increases, it's worth reconsidering the concept of wealth, or try to define it better. My ancestors, commonly known as the Vikings, they had a rune called the Fehu rune. It means cattle, and that is the rune for wealth, because to them a man's wealth could be measured in livestock and such things. Most people would say that a wealthy man or woman is someone with a lot of money. But if you had a lot of money a few months ago and you lived in Turkey, for instance, now I can't remember the exact number now, but it must have been, and correct me if I'm wrong, was it 70%? In other parts of the world the inflation is 9%, 10%. If you had money in the bank, if that was where you had stored your wealth, it's shrinking, and shrinking fast now. Having money in the bank, or in gold and silver, as is quite popular among preppers and investors, by the way, can be understood as having a battery. It's the same concept as storing energy in a battery. You store your wealth in something that in itself has no value. I mean, if you look at gold and silver, in itself it's worthless. Its value is in what you can trade it for. When you look at money, the whole concept, and excuse my language is a bit laughable, because governments are printing money, creating inflation, and by doing that they are actually stealing money from you. Now, before I continue with this video, I'll have to excuse my appearance. I am wearing a jacket that my dog has slept on, and that's why it's covered with white hair, small short white hairs. And I don't have time to get out into the woods and make a proper video for you today. I am quite busy with my novel, and I will be busy for the next 2 weeks as per today. If you're watching this in the future, hopefully, well, certainly things will have improved by then. And I'm also being a pirate, Hollywood pirate today, with a, what's it called, a buff? Yeah, underneath my hat, and that's because of the deer flies that are not dear to me. Let me just tell you that they come out at this time of the year, and they are always crawling into my hair and my beard. But anyway, wealth. It is important that we understand what it is. Gaining wealth is, of course, essential, I would say, but we can't gain wealth before we understand what wealth is. And I would encourage you to write a few words about that in the comment section so that we can get a discussion going. To me, I believe, for me, wealth is closely connected to freedom. I would say that if you have a lot of money that you have stored somewhere, like in the bank or stocks, gold, silver, whatever, that in itself doesn't make you wealthy. You could have $10 million in the bank, but if you're not free, you're not wealthy. The extreme example would be someone who is very rich but who is in jail. Is that person wealthy? I would say no. The opposite would be someone who has no money but who spends his or her time long distance hiking. Is that person wealthy? Which of those two people are the wealthiest, would you say? It's worth asking these questions. For me, you can have no wealth without freedom. Now, if you have no wealth, can you have freedom? That's another question. I'm starting to think that a life where you are self-sufficient, completely independent, would be a very wealthy life. That would be a life, to me, that would be the perfect life, being self-sufficient, being self-sustained, you'll answer to no one. Sounds to me like the perfect life, and sounds to me like wealth, excuse my Norwegian pronunciation there. That's doable, it's possible, and you actually don't need that much money to get there. But here's the thing, as you know, we have these leaders, nation leaders, world leaders, some of them elected, some selected, some self-appointed, and they have plans for us. If you look at, for instance, the World Economic Forum and their vision for the future, it's if they get their way, and they must not get their way, but if they do, it's going to be a way of life where you will have no wealth, because you will own nothing. You will be completely dependent on other people, companies, because you won't have anything that is yours. You won't own your own house, you won't own land, you will have no means of growing your own food, you will have no Fehu, as my ancestors called it. You won't have any of that in that kind of society that they want for us, these people. It's not looking so good, you know. We need to be aware of what's going on, and we need to understand that wealth matters. We need to think about what wealth is. What is wealth to you? What does it mean? Because it is important. Now, I'm going to keep this video short. I'm just out for a walk with one of our dogs, and the other dog was she likes to sleep in, so she did not want to join us, but we will have another walk later. Feel free to take a look at one of the other videos that should pop up on the end screen here. And yeah, that's all for now. Have a wonderful day. Bye.